Hello there, another bird here. Today, me and my wife went shopping, and we were just checking out some different thrift stores. And I saw this at one of them for $4. It was a key lock box. I hadn't seen this one before. I knew I didn't have one like this, um, and it didn't have the combination for $4. I think it was a little bit steep to not have a combination. I kind of feel like when you don't have the combination, these things they're of limited interest to a lot of people. So I think they should generally be a little cheaper, but $4 wasn't crazy. So I went ahead and said, okay, I'll try it out. I'll give it a shot, see if we can open it up. So my very first approach to opening this up was I took a picture of it, and then I did eBay image search, and I quickly found some brand names for it. Um, I think the cheapest I saw it selling on eBay was about $17. So it was like, okay, well, I didn't get ripped off with my $4 lock. But yeah, I saw a brand name. The first one I saw, I think, was like ORIA or ORIA or ORIA. I can't remember exactly. And I looked it up on YouTube, and sure enough, there was a YouTube video from Tech where he talks about decoding it. And I followed his steps, and then it was really easy. So yeah, if you want a quick video on how to open it, check out. I'll put a link to his video. And that was the video I saw to open it up real quick. Depending on how these work, there's different variations you can have for push button locks. Like sometimes the order matters, sometimes it doesn't. Things like that. Sometimes simultaneous presses are counted different than like sequential ones. But this is nothing fancy like that. Enter the numbers like so, and then rotate this clockwise, and you can open the lock. Rotate it counterclockwise to lock it. It doesn't automatically lock. The order you put the numbers in does not matter. Either way, it still opens up. Trying to think if there's any other like general use stuff. If you enter the wrong number, try to turn it. Just hit this button here, clear, and then you can enter the number and open it up. To set the combination is set on the back of here. So you can see each of these has a little arrow, and where they're pointing tells you if it's part of the combination or not. So you can just rotate those to reset your combination. There is one thing I thought I would mention regarding these. So if you buy one of these locks, one of the things, if you've bought one of these and you don't have a combination and you're not even sure if it's working or not, it is possible to brick this by not properly putting in the reset combination. So what you should see is for every number you press, when you press it, when you clear it, you should hear a click afterwards. All right, so that's that sort of resetting right there. However, if somebody took this and didn't properly set the combination and only put it like halfway and then locked it up, what you'll see is there's no real click when you press down and no click when you clear it. And that is a sign that they did not properly set the combination, and you may have a bricked lock. The only way I can think to get around that is you may be able to use these mounting holes on the back here. If you can peel this up, you may be able to improvise some sort of screwdriver or screwdriver-like device with like a coat hanger and reach in there and turn these. But otherwise, you may have a bricked lock. So that is just something to be aware of, but at least you can check for it. What else is interesting? How do you actually decode it? So you put a little bit of tension on this knob right here, and then just go through and feel each one. And some of them will feel like you can completely press the number, even while putting tension on this, and some of them will not. And it's not perfect. Like I was able to press a 7 there. That's not part of the combination. But I'll say that having never done this before, it took me longer than 5 minutes and less than 10 to go through it that way and figure out the combination. So certainly not real painful. You can get the feel for it pretty quick. And like some of them are obvious and they just will not press at all. So you can start deducing things pretty quick. And when you get it, it'll automatically rotate like that. And that's how a lot of these are decoded, these simpler ones where you don't have to worry about like sequences and stuff. You try to find some way to put tension on it and then test the buttons, and either the ones that go in or the ones that don't go in are usually the correct ones. I guess a couple negatives about the lock. Other than that, it's extremely easy to open. Like with no experience with this one before, 5-10 minutes. The other thing that I'm not sure I really like is that these are like visible. One of the things I noticed is I went ahead and looked it up on Amazon. I saw a version being sold under BKNOOU as a push button key lock box for about $25. And one of the things I saw was people showing pictures of like it on their house with their keys hanging there. And you could see what combination they set right there. So yeah, it's not a good idea to take pictures of your keys, especially like outside your house where you've got a mailbox nearby. And then with this, where you can also see the combination there, it's just, it makes it very easy for somebody to go back in. And it also means that like you can't leave this unlocked for somebody else to put the keys in without them seeing. I mean, they can quickly see the combination if you leave it unlocked, because it's just going to be shown up like that. So those are some negatives. I did play around, and if you peel this back and I put a light in there, I could read these bottom 6 values right here. I couldn't read the top 6, but I also didn't try super hard. Maybe if I put a little more effort in, or if I use like some sort of LED light, I could slide in. Maybe I could also read the top values. Yeah, so that's certainly a limitation there. And I was also going to just talk about some general numbers with it, just because I thought it'd be kind of fun to look at. So this has 2 to the 12 possible combinations. So it's true or false for any one of these 12 buttons. So 4,096 combinations. If you spent about 4 seconds a combination, so if you didn't know the trick and tried to brute force it, it would take, at worst case scenario, about 4.5 hours to try every combination. So on average, you're looking about 2.25 hours to go through it. And it's about the equivalent of if you're like a 4-digit numeric password on like a computer or a keypad. And just for context, like compare that to like a Yale, your standard Yale key with max cuts. You're looking about 3 million combinations, or like 21 to 22 bits of entropy, or a 6 or 7-digit numeric password in between those two. So it's pretty weak security. It looks a little intimidating at first, but it's not too hard to brute force if you were really just sitting down watching, binge watching some TV for a weekend or something. You could get it open, but it's certainly a lot easier to just put a little bit of tension there and try those, and you'll get through it a lot quicker. But for $4, it was something neat, something new I hadn't seen before. And yeah, don't take pictures of your keys, and don't take pictures of your lock boxes, and don't take pictures of your mailbox and put all those in your Amazon review. I'll say that's a bad idea. That's all I had on it. Thanks for watching, and I'll put a link to TechTech's video. I don't think he's a lock picker. I think he's more of a electronics technology guy, and just thought this was interesting. But I'll put a link to his video, and you can check it out for yourself. All right. Thanks for watching. Take care, y'all.